Welcome back. Well, I spoke earlier in the show about World Athletics mandating gender tests for female category eligibility. And as I said, this has only happened because men keep competing in the women's leagues. So it's about time that they competed in male-only competition where they belong. Joining me now is Women's Forum Australia CEO Rachael Wong. Rachael, good to see you. Look, finally, we're seeing sporting bodies make some crucial changes.
Good evening, Danica. Well, this is fantastic news, and we know that World Athletics already had protections for female sport, but this latest gene testing requirement has made those protections much stronger and protective of female athletes. And we're seeing this all around the world. For the last few years, we've been seeing international sporting bodies like swimming, rugby, netball, and so on, putting restrictions in place to protect the female sporting category. And we're seeing it at the national level as well, not in Australia, but in countries like the UK, like the US, and like New Zealand. So great news for women and girls.
Look, I agree. And I found it interesting because the athletics president, Sebastian Coe, he said that gender cannot trump biology. I mean, who would have thought? Yet why is it still so hard for woke governments, including our own here in Australia, to understand this basic biological fact?
Look, I think Australia is fast becoming an outlier on this issue, and there is no sensible explanation for why, other than that they are entirely captured by gender ideology and maybe that they're fearful as well. But it's absolutely critical that the Australian government acts on this. I've spoken to elite sporting bodies who want to change their rules, but because of our tenuous sex discrimination laws and activist guidelines, they're scared to do that. And that's not good enough. The Australian government needs to do what the US has done, which is to mandate that there are single-sex sports for women and girls. Otherwise, they'll take away funding, like, for example, what Trump has done. Otherwise, women's sport is going to continue to be eroded in this country.
Yeah, and it's already at that level right now. Now, look, you mentioned the Sex Discrimination Act. In the Senate yesterday, Labor blocked debate to restore biological definitions in that act. And the most bizarre thing about this is that the Minister for Women, Katie Gallagher, said that the government would not allow the Senate to become a forum which could enable harm. Have a listen.
We do not agree with the Senate being a place where individual harm can be done to young people across this country. And that is what would have happened had we allowed this bill to proceed in the normal course, and we won't stand for it. Trans children deserve better from this chamber.
Rachael, the Minister for Women doesn't at all seem worried about the safety of women.
Look, Danica, it is bad enough that Labor and the Greens blocked this bill, but the fact that Australia's Minister for Women labelled as harmful a bill which would have restored women's sex-based rights across Australia, which is so desperately needed, is absolutely disgraceful. And how has she not given a second thought to the harm being done to women and girls who are being forced to share spaces and sports with men who claim to be women? Labor and the Greens love to share platitudes when it comes to talking about things like ending violence against women, but when it comes to, ensuring that, for example, a domestic violence centre or a rape shelter is free from men who claim to be women, they look the other way.
Yeah, and I just also don't understand why it's now so harmful to apparently debate our own laws in Parliament. I mean, where are we heading? Rachael Wong, it's nice to see you. Thank you so much for coming on the show this evening. Appreciate it.
Thank you.